as I mentioned before, in a very different dystopian universe, one that's far more overproduced in Hollywood, a stupid one, in other words, The Last of Us has provided us with a fantastic story to talk about that today, and that is the gender wage gap. Don't you love talking about this type of stuff?
We'll never tire.
It never gets old to hear about how what we called him earlier. Now he's essentially known as America's stepfather, Pedro Pascal.
Not just that, the unproblematic slutty daddy.
I never need to hear that phrase again. That's for sure.
Whatever
You don't
sordid
refer to him as daddy?
relationship people have with Pedro Pascal parasocially, I want nothing to do with it.
You
Stop
don't,
shoving it down my
You don't think
face.
of him as daddy?
No, I don't.
So-
Honestly, I think Pedro Pascal is super overrated.
Yeah. Ooh.
I like him.
Spicy.
I think he's fine. But the fact of the matter here is that his pedigree is much greater than that of Bella Ramsey. He was making $600,000 an episode for each episode of The Last of Us. Bella Ramsey making just a meager $70,000 an episode, which means that it totaled
Minimum
out to
wage.
she made she made throughout the total of the show almost just a little bit more than what he made in one episode. So he made about 10 times more than she did on the show.
You know why?
'Cause he's
Misogyny and ageism.
Yeah. How old is Bella Ramsey though? 'Cause
She's 20 exactly.
I mean, imagine having that much cash at 20.
Yeah.
And he's how old? Like 40 something? He's in his
think he's almost
40s?
50.
He's almost 50.
How do you
Yeah.
complain about that much cash in your 20s?
And the
I
sad
would get
fact,
up
I mean,
to so much
I don't,
trouble.
she's not personally complaining about it.
Yeah.
She didn't bring it up, but they reported on this and Variety, and then everyone just lost their shit because for some reason, people who are mentally children think that if you're on a show that like the rest of the cast members are paid the same amount.
Make sense.
I also want to point out that as much as $600,000 is, it's not. Hugh Laurie was making over $1 million an episode on House, and those were 22 episode seasons.
Yeah,
House
but you
was better than
like,
the last
well,
one.
yes, it
And
was.
you think about
Yes, it was.
House was back in the days when you had network television that dominated.
Yep.
The Last of Us doesn't even have peak HBO anymore.
It's as close to peak HBO, or it's as close to like the peak of what HBO is now.
but it wasn't
as you
like
can get.
it's not like Sopranos era.
No.
where it still dominated water cooler discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, and House was amazing. It was a perfect procedural show.
It really was.
And Hugh Laurie, irreplaceable.
Yes, he's they're bringing it back, right?
House?
Yeah, they're gonna reboot
With
it.
Hugh
Is it going to
Laurie?
be apartment?
That's not confirmed though. That was just a
Well, they're doing a second season of The Night Manager. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't know.
but that was a great show.
Me and you are the only people on planet Earth that saw that show.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Like,
I love
think
that
me and you,
show.
Even me, who's like that one's a little bit even too avant-garde for my tastes.
Oh yeah, you don't like art.
It was that he also had a show called Chance on Hulu, which was about a doctor.
Okay.
But like he's like a psychiatrist.
He shouldn't play doctors anymore.
No, he should not.
Did House.
So Bella Ramsey's making $70,000 an episode. Pedro Pascal is making $600,000 an episode. And what I love about it is like the low IQ take that people immediately go to. It's one of the most frustrating things about society today. Anytime there's a discrepancy or a disparity in anything, people just immediately go to the easiest possible answer they could go to, which is that apparently like they both walked in. Now this is what I picture. Her and Pedro Pascal are standing next to each other and they walk into the office together, and the racist coke snorting HBO executive's like, pay that guy more because he's a dude, okay? Pay him more, and you don't get anything, even though we're going to use your identity markers to display it. Also, is it misogyny if she's not technically, by her own standards, considered a girl?
Yeah, I saw this,
wrinkle.
tweet from Bella Ramsey on
big
Trans Day of Visibility. Here's what it said. Happy Trans Day of Visibility to this little dude. It's a picture of Bella Ramsey from childhood. I didn't know the word non-binary in this picture, but I knew what it meant inherently.
Because the university doesn't
Because I
teach it to you.
always was and always will be. Lots of love to all my trans, NB, and gender funky friends.
The funky friends creepy.
Gender funky friends. You're such a dork.
Yes.
No one likes you. You are hated.
And they love the term inherent, and they love the term innate because they feel like it like absolves them from having to explain what the hell they're talking
They
about.
are big words.
Yeah, but the point here is that they go to the lowest common denominator, and the simple fact of the matter is that he's got way more credits to his name, way more gravitas and way more of a career and probably a better agent.
Well, yeah,
That's what it comes down to. All of this crap comes down to the fact that the best Hollywood actors are the ones who can afford the best agents with the most connections and the most business experience. It is inherently, and this is why it was always so funny when Gad Saad was arguing with like Seth Rogen. He's like, you are a product of the most capitalist industry in the entire world. Like, you can use all of the identity, politics, laden BS you want. At the end of the day, the bottom line is what matters when they're getting paid. They are not going to work for less unless it's an art project they feel strongly about. But in this case, that's not what this is.
But now they never even do that. They don't even make art projects anymore.
No. Well, I mean, they make crappy political. They make She Said. That's their idea of art now, which is a movie about the Harvey Weinstein story.
Oh.
Like, they make wannabe Oscar bait. That's the closest they get to art these days. And the explanation is just far easier to understand. And the explanation is that it costs more to pay an actor with a bigger name. He was connected to The Mandalorian at the time, which was, at that time, not suffering.
Even that's insane, because, like, we all know that it's just a body double and he records his lines and sends them in. It's, like, the least effort. And he just talks like this.
He showed
in all of his lines, and that's
like 15 minutes of the show, right?
Okay, but that's all it took.
But he wasn't supposed to show his face at all because he's a narcissist, and he had to have his face on camera.
And he was like, I don't know, I'm going to be traveling for other jobs for a while, so you're going to have to keep that helmet on.
Well, I'm a big, I mean, I don't think, it was like the stupid Boba Fett show where he takes his mask off like the whole time. It's like, no one cares. Like, the helmet's the cool thing. That's what's cool.
It's like it'd be like the killer in the Ghostface in the Scream movies, just taking the mask off right away and chasing him around with a knife.
Yeah, the mask is cool. That's what people like.
If women are paid 70 cents to the man's dollar,
is that what's happening here? By the way,
what are NBs paid?
Yeah, what is a gender funky friend?
Okay. What is a gender funky friend paid compared to?
Envy is a thing where you want something that someone else has.
Non-binary. NB.
ENBY.
What the hell is that?
It's like a cutesy way to refer to yourself if you identify as gender neutral.
Is this some Tumblr word that I never knew?
It's obviously extended adolescence.
They pay him 68 cents on the dollar on the days they identify as a man and 70 cents on the dollar on the days.
So you really can split the middle.
Yeah, it's the middle.
She probably should have been making like, what, 90 an episode?
Probably. if she had been, depending on the day, I guess it would depend on the day she signed the contract.
Yeah, I guess
what was she identifying at on the day she signed the contract? And does it change depending on the day in which your make-believe just decides that you don't want to be this?
Do they know that when they have brain dead takes like this, it just red pills more people? Like the gender pay gap thing was really like what I mean, I was never a feminist, but when I like started looking into the gender pay gap stuff, that's what made me actively like anti-feminist, like very strongly, because it's just the most, on its face, it's the stupidest thing you've ever heard.
Well, but it's also always the people who are also making an absurd amount of money who are complaining about it.
Of course,
it'd be one thing if she was walking into her like office job and was like, "Hey, I do the same job that this dude does, and he's making like 5 times as much."
Yeah,
that'd be one thing. But like, she's making what a lot of people make in a year in one episode. So,
and they're not doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of for me. It's sort of. I have a hard time pitying some of the people who yell the loudest about their pay gaps.
Also, I'm going to call it the ageism here. It's like, you didn't even wait him to hit AARP age before you start claiming ageism? Like,
yeah.
So it's ageism because she's young? That's just inexperience. That's what they're going to do. Next is just going to be like, they're going to get an entry-level job at a company, and they're going to be like, we'll pay you like this salary. They're like, you're not paying me more, and that's ageism. They're like, no, you just have no job experience. No, that's ageism, because everything is an ism or a phobe now. And let's face it, the show was meh. It was meh. Like,
it sucked.
She's going to make a ton more next season. I guarantee you. She will make...
But isn't she the main character next season? No spoilers.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Well, we don't know when they're going to get rid of Pedro Pascal. Like, probably put that off as long as possible, right?
They are, but they're not, because... is it spoilers? The second game is like 3 years.
It's a spoiler. It's been spoiled on this show before, so
I spoiled the second game.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's just say there's flashbacks. You know, that's not really spoilers.
Yeah, no, that's not spoilers.
So he'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to remake Lone Wolf and Cub because that's his next step.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, he's played the character basically.
Yeah.
All these shows are Pedro Pascal as dad protecting a child. Lone Wolf and Cub is where all these things come from. Let's do it.
They have an episode of Person of Interest called Wolf and Cub where he protects a kid from a gang run out of a comic book shop. Actually,
was his slutty daddy?
Have you never read or seen the Lone Wolf and Cub?
I know what it is.
Highly recommend.
But like, because I was interested in because they talk about it in the episode, so it becomes part of the in-world thing. So. I'm sorry. They talk about the concept of the Ronin in that, but the samurai without a master,
which is Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it gets brought up in there, but I didn't even remember. Yeah, that takes place in a comic book shop. It's like a gang run out of a comic book shop, which might be the coolest thing I've ever heard. Now somebody.
It's also the most pathetic thing you've ever heard.
No, it's freaking
unlikely to ever.
I can't imagine what a comic book shop run gang would look like.
Well, it was a bunch of.
They would not be threatened.
Go watch that episode of Person of Interest. It's cool. Okay. It's got Malik Yoba in it. Malik Yoba's a great actor, and as well as the dude who played Bell on season throughout all of the show Elementary. There's one right there, Mary.
Whoa.
It's jammed.
Dang.
It's not. It's okay. Average Dad said if we get to 10 crisis parties, Bert must be a chicken for a week. Sleep in the coop so we can all watch whether Roberto Jr. stays dominant or if Bert can dethrone him.
You're getting thrown out to the cock castle?
Yeah, what happened? Now I'm getting thrown out of the house?
He's like, what's going on? The rise, the fall's just as quick, my
fall's
friend.
just as quick.
I'm worried for you, Bert.
Yep.
They're coming for the crown.
Like, she will make a lot more money in the next season, and for a lot of these things...
To be fair to Bella Ramsey, it wasn't her that complained about it. It's all of her stupid fans who are like 12 years old. So
no, they're probably all 40-year-olds.
Think so?
I hope not.
It's probably a bunch of people who are way too old to care about what she's making.
If you've got an anime avatar, I'm immediately suspicious most of the time.
Well, you're definitely not a real person.
Yeah, like that's China or Russia or bad people that are there to destroy America with anime avatar arguments and stuff like that. So we'll see where this goes. She has a fair amount of credits to her name too, but he's been an actor that I've seen in just about everything. Like he shows up in like all the TV shows you've watched for one episode or another. So he's got the
like
pedigree.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It's Hollywood's like, we're still gonna make actors a thing.
Thank you.
Hollywood doesn't like the fact that they don't get to be the ones who pick who's popular anymore.
That guns are out of money.
No.
Oh, there it goes.
There it goes.
Okay.
Like, Hollywood doesn't like the fact that they're not allowed to be the ones who pick who's cool anymore because the internet does most of that now. Yeah. So I feel like Pedro Pascal is kind of an industry plant. They're like, this is the guy.
I mean, but Bella Ramsey has no organic appeal. I can't believe she does.
To the youth, maybe. I mean, to the youth that's not like you or the way you were raised, like maybe younger people who were raised on their phones.
The youth that's not like you.
Not you. It's fun.
There we go.
There
it's funny.
See?
So gleeful.
Yeah, no, I make miserable books, but I'm not actually.
I'm a happy person.
I'm a miserable human being.
Kind of a happy-go-lucky guy.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I try.
So
life's too short to be like upset all the time.
That's the problem. Yeah. Bitter people make dystopian literature and art now, and then it doesn't take itself seriously.
But they're not even cool bitter. They're bitter because they were thrown into lockers as kids.
They're bitter because they made $70,000 an episode.
Yeah.
Look, did you see that thing the other day where they were showing like the average salary of the Hollywood writer? They're making like $300K a year. Like in Hollywood, like
insane.
To make that garbage?
That's actually insane.
That is kind of. I would love to please. Pay me $300K.
And then every New York Times journalist does an article with like 5 different credits to the article. Like, how did it take a team to make this article?
Well, they have to check that they're making up the right facts.
Somebody in the chat is saying that I'm an industry plant. If so, they are not good at planting anymore.
Which industry would you be planted
what industry
from?
am I being planted from? And just no.
Wait a minute. Copy money?
I mean,
straight from the IRS.
Yes.
Are you calling us out?
It's basically, I mean, is the stuff that keeps getting printed by the Fed any more real?
No.
Really?
No, it's not. And the Fed.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.